Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Good afternoon if you're joining us from the East Coast. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us today. We will be talking about dispensary SEO in this webinar. Let's allow another 30 seconds or so for the other attendees to join us, and we'll be kicking it off here momentarily. Thank you so much. All right. Good morning once again. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join us. We will be discussing dispensary SEO in this webinar. If you're just joining us, we'll be kicking it off right now. If you're joining us from the East Coast, good afternoon and thank you for joining us. Once again, the topic of today's webinar is SEO for dispensaries and the secret weapon you perhaps did not know you needed in order to gain traction as well as online business. So during this webinar, we're going to be discussing primarily how to score more Google traffic and get more sales to your dispensary. The agenda for today: what is SEO? The keys to a successful strategy, 3 most important SEO factors, and how to get started. SEO can help you increase your website visibility, build your brand, and score more customers. Today, we're going to be covering what is SEO, the keys to a successful strategy, and the 3 things that have the most impact on how you rank. Plus, we'll get into how to start implementing your SEO strategy quickly and effectively. My name is Eduardo Silva. I will be your host for today. A little bit of a background on myself. I have around 18 years of sales and marketing experience. So I'm really happy to be joining you today. Quick question for our attendees today, and do feel free to chime on in the chat for this one. Bonus point if you know where in the world this beach is located. Do we have any takers? All right, there it is. Three correct answers. So we have 3 of 3. Great job, guys. Wonderful. Thank you so much once again for joining us. If you are joining us from your respective state, please put in there the city name where you're joining us from, just to get a barometer, if you will, from all of the different regions. We have Boulder, Colorado, wonderful. Lafayette, Colorado, Vegas, Chandler, Arizona, wonderful. So we're covering a good, oh, we have Michigan in the house. Wonderful. Welcome, Michigan, Grand Rapids. Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Heart right back to you, Grand Rapids. Thank you so much. So a little bit about Foot Traffic here before we get started. Foot Traffic is a dispensary digital marketing agency. We focus solely in this industry. We have been doing so for 4.5, going on to 5 years now. This is our bread and butter. At any given point, we may be working with around 200 or so dispensaries throughout the country, as well as in Canada. So North America is our domain, and the cannabis industry is our focus. We do not do business outside of this industry. So we're really happy to be sharing some of these insights with you today. Let's get ready for our webinar here today. Just a couple housekeeping items. If you do have your cell phone with you, please put that cell phone on mute or vibrate, just to reduce the amount of distractions. We're going to be covering a lot of content in a very short period of time. Also, take a moment to familiarize yourself with Zoom. By this point, considering the crisis, I think everybody is a master on Zoom. However, this is a webinar interface. So if you navigate to the top of your window there, you should see a Q&A button. We do have panelists that will be helping us address questions throughout the webinar. So for any questions you have throughout the webinar, please do enter them in the Q&A section. We'll be happy to address those as we move along. And make sure you stick around. We have a special offer for all of the attendees here today and only for the attendees. And we'll be sharing that with you at the end of the webinar. So let's kick it off with what is SEO. So SEO is search engine optimization, which is a practice of increasing the quantity and quality of traffic to your website through organic search engine results. Organic search engine traffic is unpaid traffic that comes from Google. Now, a lot of people ask me, well, what about Bing? What about Yahoo? What about insert name here? Well, Google makes up 93% of all organic search traffic in North America. So that's why we're going to be focusing on Google today. Most of those other platforms do have some pull, but they're very limited. So when you embark in SEO, you are also impacting those other engines, but Google predominantly makes up the vast majority. So when your customers want to find a dispensary near them, they turn to search and Google in particular. And if you want to show up in those search results, then it's crucial that you have a robust SEO strategy and a team to implement it. Otherwise, searchers will go right to your competitor. Search engine optimization shows that your page is relevant to particular keywords. In our business, that may be San Diego Dispensary, Detroit Provisioning Center, or Santa Rosa Marijuana Delivery. Okay? Optimizing your site around these keywords make it more likely that people who are looking for your services that they will find you. When you have a good SEO strategy, two things will happen. One, you will show up higher in the search results, and two, you will get more organic traffic. When you rank better in Google, it helps create brand trust and authority. It shows searchers that your site is relevant and that it may be useful for them. They automatically equate high rankings with quality. Plus, because searchers rarely look past the first page of results, your higher ranking will lead to more organic traffic. In fact, the top 3 results of a search tend to get 75% of all organic traffic. Once again, the top 3 results on a search will get 75% of all organic traffic. The lower you are on the search result, the less traffic you will get. So organic traffic is one of the most dependable sources of traffic and revenue for many businesses. According to research from HubSpot, organic search is responsible for 94% of all web traffic. Last night, I read an article about Walmart. The CEO said that organic and web-based sales for their e-commerce is now their new norm. So this is affecting not just our industry, right? This crisis that is, but it's affecting your business as well. And it's not just any web traffic. Thanks to your optimization, it will be relevant, high quality traffic, meaning the customers that find you, they're already looking for you. They're already interested in what you're selling. We hear plenty of excuses for people not using SEO. I've heard anywhere from, I already show up in search results for my name, and my customers know how to find me. Well, some people just don't understand what it is and think that they will automatically show up in search results because they have a good dispensary or a good brand. SEO is a way to get new customers and to capitalize on your digital presence. It helps set you apart from the competitor and increases the value of your website to potential customers. So with SEO, you are ensuring that your website, it's always working for you, and your website, it's always active. As Neil Patel, the popular SEO expert for digital marketing, said, your website is your 24-hour salesman. So let's look at a quick case study. The data from one of our customers shows that 50% or more of all of their online revenue comes from SEO, right? Here we see $116,000 worth of revenue in 1 month solely attributed to SEO. To break that down a little bit more into the other sources of revenue for this particular customer, right? This makes up actually 61.3% of all of their revenue from their online menu. 10% or so were on Google Ads. This is paid. So it's very important to note that investing in an SEO strategy will certainly enhance your consistency of customer and revenue. Let's dive into the key parts of a good SEO strategy. With SEO, you're trying to make it easier for customers to find you when they are using particular keywords to search. At the same time, you can't overuse those keywords or you will get penalized by Google. Keywords should appear in both headings and content, and your content should be relevant to the keywords you're using. For cannabis, you can create content around your product, the plant, your local area, and even more. But remain relevant and crucial for these search terms. This helps improve your site authority and shows Google that you know what you're talking about. For example, if you go to our website, foottraffic.co, you will see pages for each of our services. And then you will also find that many of our blog posts relate to our services or to our clients' interest. There are a few different types of content you can create. Of course, you have your web pages, like your location page that clearly shows where your dispensary is and should be optimized for your city or neighborhood. You can also create pillar pages and blog posts to help increase your authority and strengthen the likelihood that your site will rank for those keywords. Page speed also impacts your SEO. Google doesn't want to link to pages that have a poor user experience, and your loading time is part of that. How long it takes your site to load will really matter in the end. If it takes longer than 3 seconds to load a page, people are just going to leave your site and go to one of your competitors. If you want to rank higher, check that your website is loading optimally. You may need to compress images or remove unnecessary components or even plugins that are slowing down your load time. The third key we're sharing today is mobile responsiveness. More and more searches are being done on mobile, and 96% of those are on Google. Because of this, Google has made how your site looks and works on mobile devices an important rank factor. Again, this has to do with the user experience because Google wants people to keep using their search engine. They are in the business of finding the best solution to a search. So they're more likely to show sites that work well on different devices. With our website themes that we have created here at Foot Traffic, your site is already guaranteed to look good and also optimally for mobile. Key number 4, your URL and title tags are another opportunity to increase your search ranking. Your keyword and the subject of the page should be clear from the title of the page, the URL, the content, and the image alternative text. Your URL, of course, is your website's location. For us, that's foottraffic.co. If I wanted to create a page around dispensary SEO, I would use that in the URL and the slug. which comes right after the domain name. The page's URL would then be foottraffic.co/dispensary-SEO. Notice that it's clear. You know exactly what will be on the page, information about dispensary SEO, which also happens to be the keyword. There's no date, so you won't seem out of date in a couple years. And there are no unnecessary numbers or characters. We also only mention the keyword once. Don't keyword stuff unless you want to get in trouble with Google, but try to be descriptive and clear. At the same time, and here's where art and science meet, you need to make sure that everything you write is geared towards real readers. That means that while you need to keep Google in mind, you can't just write for SEO. Key number 5, backlinks are another vital part of ranking better in SEO. Creating a link building strategy will help showcase the relevance and authority of your website. Link signals accounts for over 28% of organic rank factors and 17% of Google's local pack ranking factors. So you can't ignore this. When people link to your site, they're essentially endorsing you. Those links help to build site authority. They tell Google that people like you and your content and that it's relevant. The best way to get backlinks is to create good content that people want to share via social and on their own blog post. By showcasing your knowledge of the industry and of cannabis in general, you can create content that people want to link to. You can also guest post on relevant sites to help build your links as well. The quality of the link matters, of course. While you want many links, they should be from relevant sites or individuals, as their domain authority helps increase the value of your link. Plus, the text that they use to link to you, known as the anchor text, should be relevant to the content. The last key we're going to cover is NAP. Search is local. Make sure you improve your chances of showing up in a local pack. Check your name, address, and phone number, and make sure that they're all the same in all relevant websites for your listings, including your Google My Business profile. Not only does this help customers actually reach you, but it shows Google that you are who you say you are and increases your trustworthiness. You may have noticed that the important SEO factors we mentioned all had one thing in common. They all make the user experience better. As I said before, Google is the business of showing searchers the most relevant results. If you want to be one of those, then you need to showcase 3 things that are important for the user experience: expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. Everything I've covered until now helps showcase these 3 items. By creating content and optimizing your site around your relevant keywords, you will build credibility. All of the components of a good SEO work together. So it's important to create a comprehensive strategy that works on all fronts. One surprising factor that can help boost your experience, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness is reviews. That may seem surprising, however, Google does take this into account. And this ultimately means what people are saying about you when they determine how to rank you. If you have a poor review on Google, for example, isn't going to necessarily consider you an expert or a trustworthy source. So in other words, make sure you're active in your reviews. What does this mean? Getting more good reviews and getting them consistently can help provide you a boost in this area. You will also want to respond to negative reviews and resolve those when possible. When creating a review strategy, focus on Google primarily, not Leafly or Weedmaps or any other site. You want to encourage people who have had a positive experience to leave you a review. You can do this through automated SMS messages or bud tender messaging. Feel free to reach back out to us. We can certainly walk you through what this looks like. Your goal should be to have an average rating of 4.7 stars. Fewer stars will result in fewer sales. That is the correlation. Customers take reviews into account when making a purchase. So this isn't just about SEO. It helps you on two fronts. And as promised, we want to share with you a competitive SEO strategy. So your competition is doing SEO, and they will try to rank for your keywords. Everyone wants to get on the top of a Google search result. It's a valuable piece of real estate. Remember, those top 3 results get 75% of all of the clicks. By creating a robust SEO strategy, you can start moving your website up the ranks and build more trust with customers. Keep in mind, this is sustained effort. You need to actively do it because Google changes its algorithm quite frequently. If you want to continue to rank well and even better, rank higher, then you need to invest in a dispensary SEO strategy. We're running this special offer for the attendees of today's webinar only. So normally a package that we would charge $14.99 for a full SEO strategy per month, we're charging only $9.99. The SEO campaign will include website optimization, 1 fresh blog post, 50 backlinks to increase authority, and review management across Google, Yelp, Facebook, Leafly, and Weedmaps, and a reporting software. So reach back out to us, and we'll put the link here on our chat window so you can reach out to us so we can get you started. Finally, let's turn back to our attendees for any questions. Please feel free to use the Q&A function for any questions you may have. I think I saw a couple questions come in on the, there it is, one question. How long does it take to see results? Normally, we want you to budget for 6 to 9 months to see some really impactful SEO results. However, a proper SEO strategy should start showing its revenue generation capability within around 90 days or so. But depending on where we're starting from, it could be around that 6-month mark before you start seeing your results go up the Google results page. Do you need Google Ads with SEO? Great question. The interesting part of Google Ads and SEO is that, one, Google grants you the opportunity to bid for that higher ranking position. So Google Ads is a way that you can bypass SEO temporarily, but obviously at a cost, right? So Google Ads is a great way to bridge the gap, right, in getting to that top pole position within Google while you're building your SEO strategy to catch up, right? So it is a two-pronged approach. We certainly encourage our clients to use Google Ads while we're building their SEO strategy. Once you attain that top ranking position, then you can probably start dialing back your overall SEO strategy and just maintain your top ranking position. Great question. Another question here, can you still get approved for Google Ads if you have dispensary or CBD or other flagging keywords in your brand name? Interesting question here. So Google still determines that cannabis or any term they're related to it, right, like marijuana, is classified as a drug, and therefore they won't allow you to bid for words like that, right? And so you can't use words like that in your ad copy. So that's where we come in. We've been doing Google Ads for the dispensary industry, right? For the cannabis industry, successfully for 4.5 years. This is where art meets science. We know how to leverage Google Ads in a way that won't get you flagged, right? And we charge a very minimal fee to manage your campaigns for you to drive optimum results. Another question here was pertaining to the package that we're offering today, and that is 50 backlinks and 1 blog post for every month. That is correct. You understood that. So the ideal scenario there is to make it really easy and transparent for you to get started, right? Depending on where you are with your business, we may make some different recommendations to get you faster, right, up that result chain. But yes, the package is inclusive of 50 backlinks and 1 blog post for every month. Great question, Dominic. Any other questions? Wonderful. We're going to share a link with the attendees here today via the chat. Please do feel free to reach out to us via the link that we will provide you here. And for attending the webinar today, you are now qualified for that free E.A.T tumbler. If you don't know what a E.A.T tumbler is, it's only the best thermal coffee, tea mug, iced tea, whatever it is you want, right? For your hot summer days or your cold winter nights. So do reach out to us. Let's schedule a call and we'll get you qualified for that. Once again, thank you so much for your time. And do feel free to use the link here in the chat window, foottraffic.me/call, to schedule a call with us. We're happy to walk you through what a successful campaign may look like for your business. Have a wonderful day. And once again, we really appreciate your time. Cheers.